I just wanted to make this update on March 22nd, right before we're about to announce a snap election. I decided that I think it would be a good idea to kind of go through what we're being offered right now, right before we get into political spectrum. Let's see what we're being offered by our political candidates. So I'm going to go through their goals, their promises, the challenges they face, and where I kind of see some problems in what they're telling us. So yeah, let's get into it. So I'm going to start off with the Liberal Party. Oh, Mark Carney. And I do have to say, this is my least favorite choice purely because his history. I'll go into this a little bit later, but we'll get into the Liberal Party right now. So their key goals that they want to accomplish are implementing progressive policies focused on climate change and social welfare, achieve economic growth while upholding environmental commitment, and strengthen healthcare and education systems. They promise to replace the consumer carbon tax with an incentive program that rewards green choices, maintaining taxes on large industry emitters. So my take on this is they're going to really give incentives for you buying solar. I'm one of these people. Like, I actually have done this. I've done the greener homes loan. Like, the Liberals actually have this right now. This incentive program to update your home, and you get money back for everything you update. However, there are a lot of problems with the process. Another promise that they want is to cap profit margins on essential goods and outlaw shrinkflation. Eliminate goods and services tax, so they want to get rid of the GST tax on homes over 1.5 million for first-time home buyers. Credit card interest rates, they want to cap it at 15, aiming to reduce them to 10. I'm not sure how they're going to do this when a lot of credit card industries, like, they're run by our central banks. So are you gonna tell big bank that you now have to cap these things? Sorry, I'm really not trying to poke here, but I really don't like the Liberal Party's agenda because it's the same thing Justin Trudeau proposed 10 years ago. Anyways, back to their provinces. To create 100,000 additional $10 per day childcare spots by integrating daycare facilities into new or renovated federal offices. Am I reading that right? Like, they really want federal employees to be daycare facilities? I guess we do have this in my my previous job. We have a daycare, but I'm pretty sure it's not anything associated with the government. I'm pretty sure they're just a separate business, so we need some more direction on that. So let's go into their plans. They plan to redirect funds from the consumer carbon tax to incentive-based environmental programs. Redirect what funds? You've cut the side of tax. Where are you getting funds from? Redirect the consumer tax to incentive-based environmental programs. What the fuck does that mean? Enforce regulations to monitor and control profit margins on essential goods. Collaborate with provinces and territories, which we should have been doing anyways, to enhance healthcare systems. First off, that has nothing to do with collaboration, and I will get into that in a completely separate video. Introducing legislation to regulate credit card interest rates. Yeah, again, I'd like to see a full plan on how that would take place, because I do have a little bit of economics background and financial background, so like, I don't know how that's going to work. And incorporating childcare facilities into federal infrastructure projects. Again, are we just making facilities for places? Like, anyways, we're on to the challenges. Managing the transition from consumer carbon tax to incentive-based programs without reducing environmental effectiveness. Ensuring provincial territorial cooperation for healthcare and childcare incentives. Addressing issues, potential residents from financial regulations to increase rate caps. Again, like, why are we focusing on financial and credit institutions? Why are we not focusing on where our issues are, which are distribution? Our primary problem is distribution. We have very few ways of getting things from one way to the other side of the country. You want Canada to be made in Canada? We need to build more bridges to our territories. We need to give them the ability to traverse. In the United States, let's take that for example. The United States works as a whole country. They are divided up into states and things, but trade between them is not as tightly regulated as it is in Canada. Every province needs their fair share. Every province acts as their own country. And this is where the whole Quebec debate comes in, because they've always felt like they've been their own country. Managing the transition from consumer tax to incentive-based programs without reducing environmental incentives are one of the challenges. Ensuring provincial and territorial cooperation for healthcare and childcare incentives, and addressing potential resistance from financial institutions. Exactly. Like, do you really think a bank is gonna tell you that you're gonna allow them to get capped at fucking 15%? Thing I need to explain to people in Canada. Our banks are private businesses. They're not owned by Canada. They operate as individual corporations. So when you give them your money, it has nothing to do with the government, and the government has nothing to do with them. They can't do things without massive fucking votes and regulation. The banks are essentially like individual people with all of the money. Go figure! So let's address some of the other problems I see here. So we're redirecting funds for the consumer carbon tax, right? Okay, but you're gonna redirect funds how? Like, how are they being spent now? Where are you spending? Like, how are we don't have a treasure trove of fucking money in this fucking environmental fund? Like, where does that go? Like, how can we explain to the Canadians how the consumer carbon tax actually helps climate change? Because nobody's really explained any of that to us. And I'm sure that all of that tax that you spend, that billions of dollars, I can guarantee you could probably slash about 60% of it. Well, I'll give you the good gracious 40. You could cut 40% of what we give to climate change. You could take the other 60, for fuck's sakes. Keep taking it. Take the other 60 and actually invest it in climate initiative projects. Did you know in the Netherlands there's actually a wind turbine that is silent and can produce more electricity on one turbine on your home than an entire platform of solar panels? Like, why are we not investing in this technology in Canada? We have plenty of fucking wind. Like, come on. There's my kind of hot take on that one. And again, we should be enforcing control positions on essential goods right now. Because right now, supply chains have been severed. We don't know where we're getting them. We have an unreliable neighbor who just thinks they can fucking play us like a puppet. And they are. They're playing the hate. I need you guys to understand this. Like, what's going on in Alberta is the plan. Trump's plan is to bring down each province individually, because that's how we fall. We fall when we each give in to their ideals. Canada strong, Canada proud. I don't give a shit what you call it. My Canadian pride is for all of Canada. And you know what? That actually extends to even more. Like, that extends to the world. Like, Canada isn't just a place. It's an idea. It's a way of being. It's a type of people. I get why people are so gung-ho to jump to the States. We have not been taught. Well, I was. And I think the 90s and the early 2000s was really taught, like, how Canada can be proud, how you can support yourself, how you can do these things. And I think we kind of got muddied in with the US along the way. I'll just sum this all up by being completely candid, and I think Mark Carney is not a good choice for our prime minister because he is too business focused. We are putting another rich man in power, and yes, I get it, they're all rich, like they all have a certain amount of wealth, but like Carney is Trump level rich people. Like, he understands how to manipulate the markets. He understands how to manipulate the stock markets with the tools you and I don't get. And you want him to run our country and take our money and give it to whoever he wants. You're calling Pierre the devil, but man, like, he's sitting right in front of you. You've got a banker running for fucking prime minister, right? Like, he's not gonna change anything. He's going to do exactly what he planned to do in his book while he was in office with Trudeau, but part of his team. He's been briefed on all of this. You really think we really deserve another liberal fucking lackey to give us more regulations, more red tape, more things to tie us down when we're struggling? We can barely eat, live, or even just like get by without hating each other because we think each other are the problem. No. The problem are the people who keep on spreading the hate. I really want people to take a beat when they hear something, like especially anti-Pierre right now, because that is prevalent. And there are a few organizations, one's Protecting Canada, that does this themselves. They've committed $300,000 of money to just Pierre's mirror ads over the past 7 years, probably. You probably don't even know who Pierre is. Sorry, I didn't mean to get into a Pierre rant, but like, this is what I'm saying. Liberals are everything they're saying Pierre is. And I just want to emphasize that kind of understanding. Onto the Conservative Party. And I'll be fully candid, this is the candidacy that I'm supporting right now, purely because of how I understand the government and what they plan to do. I'm still going to be as harsh because I don't like the guy either. Pierre Poilievre, or PP, as everybody's been calling him on the internet. Yes, you're named after piss. He's just not a nice guy. He doesn't come off as a nice guy. He comes off as cocky. And that Jordan Peterson fucking interview, I shit you not, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? All he said were talking points, things to rile young men, more hate to feed the fire that we just do not need. So I do not like the guy, but I understand that he is not the one who's going to be running things. It's his party. And that's one thing I do want to emphasize. We're voting a prime minister in, but the people who actually do and vote and pass things are a party. They have to agree with each other. So if you don't have an agreement, you're not going to get a whole lot of movement in our government system. So anyways, I want to go into their key goals. Reducing government spending and eliminating unnecessary contracts. And I think you guys know how I feel about this. So I'll hold off. Advocating for free market competition and to lower taxation. Strengthening national security and emphasizing Canadian sovereignty. My hot take on the security thing is purely out of fear for what's going down south of our border. Well, like, it really resounded with me. Like, fuck, I don't mean to be this guy, but I got so scared that I actually bought a gun. I don't mean that in a negative way. I just want to be protected in case that fucking nut job leaves us the fuck alone. So we'll get into their promises. They want to abolish the federal carbon tax, which, again, you know my opinion on this, and to reduce overall tax burden. Conduct audits on the government contracts and ensure fair pricing and competition. Support key industries such as energy, agriculture, and manufacturing. Like, just those promises right there build us a better structure. I want to try and break this down. These promises are essentially the basis of how the US operates their economy. They don't have a whole lot of government restrictions across provincial or federal territory, so they can sell easily without being taxed heavily. Our corporations, like things we build and grow in Canada, are taxed so heavily that it's actually cheaper for Canadians to operate in the US and just sell to Canadians. Like, that's how batshit our regulations and red tape are, and taxes are for businesses. So you want to promote our own food, our own natural resources, our own manufacturing. These need to be built. But if they're going to get taxed the hell out of, how do you get off the ground? How do you even compete with a US company that can just come in with no real restrictions, because we're US partners, right? So they get the benefit of the deal. And meanwhile, an Ontarian can't do business in Alberta without suffering shit tons of tax. This is a poor economic plan. So yes, I'll go into his plans now. Review government contracts and policies to identify inefficiencies. Encourage private sector growth through deregulation and tax cuts. Focus on domestic energy production and infrastructure development. The challenges he faces are balancing the economic growth with the environmental sustainability. So we really do, like, I'm not a climate fucking denier. I know climate change is a thing and I want to help. And this is where I see the major flaw one of the major flaws in the Conservative Party's platform. They want to do all this, but they don't care about what's going to be impacted along the way. So we really have to be careful while we're scaling companies and building manufacturing, that we're also offsetting those carbon negatives by making sure we're planting more trees or building carbon nets or any other of the carbon negative infrastructure that you see across the world being deployed right now. Like, we should be bringing that in-house to offset our carbons, even though we don't give a whole lot to carbon emissions, but we pay a whole lot to the fucking climate. I think we pay like 1% or something of the climate stuff, like, holy shit, or something. I don't know the actual terms, but I'm just saying, like, if we want to prevent climate change, the way to do it is to endorse solutions that fix the problem and not just fork over money because, hey, I'm polluting. And they also are public opposition to social programs and government-funded initiatives. This is another problem I have, because I care deeply about our systems. Our social programs are flawed, but at least they give people support, right? I'm going to dive deeper into a video. I actually am looking for a retired nurse or a nurse who's quit, somebody that's no longer in the industry and that can kind of sustain a little backlash, because I really want to, like, dive into that world. I know a lot of healthcare workers and I understand their struggle, and I understand how they understand their struggle. So I would really like to dive deep into that as a future video, but I digress. I want to emphasize that the initiatives and the programs set up are not the problem. The problem is the financial and the paperwork behind it. I can guarantee you there are so many layers of bureaucracy behind these initiatives and programs that we do not need. I'm not saying like it's killing welfare or anything like that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying we have managers on managers on managers to relay information up and top. So we're hiring people and putting systems in to layer ourselves. The majority of these initiatives and the funding goes into just this little gap right here. That's where all the funding goes. And this is where I'm emphasizing, like, I stand with the conservatives because they want to audit the government. Do you understand that? Like, they want to go line by line and fucking audit the government. Do you know how much taxpayer dollars are wasted in government contracts that we no longer use, regulations we no longer support, things that don't make sense and just kill our progress? And this is why I think they have the right idea. But I still think they're fucking fucknots. Fuck you, conservatives, for giving the message that we don't give a shit about every Canadian. Just the ones you designate. Let's get into the NDP's plans, or the New Democratic Party. Does anybody call it the New Democratic Party anymore? I don't think so. I think NDP is pretty much okay, but even still, you haven't made much of an impact in years. Yay. Jagmeet Singh is the leader of the New Democratic Party. He's been in that party spot since 2017, which is pretty impressive, but we'll get into his credentials in a little bit. So let's get on to the New Democratic Party, or the NDP. Their leader is Jagmeet Singh. He's been established since 2017. And I do have to say, like, this is my secondary party. Like, this is primarily the party I used to vote for. My primary concern in this election is mainly the out-of-touch nature that the party is kind of going on. Like, I love what you fight for, and I'll do that right now. The key goals that you're implementing or trying to implement in this upcoming apocalypse. So, key goals: promote social justice, equality, and workers' rights. I'm pretty sure we have that. Expand public healthcare to ensure affordable access to essential services. Okay, I've got some news, or not news, but I've got some words. Address housing affordability and support marginalized communities. This is why I think you're out of support, or out of touch. We already promote social justice, equality, and workers' rights, and I understand that it's not talked about as much, but we have a lot more protections and social justice and equality than the US does. I know we don't hear it all that way because you get it all from Toronto and Vancouver and the big hubs where literally everybody is all the time, and you wonder where there's fighting. Like, I don't want to be around people all the fuck time. Like, fuck. Expanding healthcare and ensuring affordable access to essential services. This to me just screams that you want to help public healthcare. I get it, but you don't understand the cost of expanding these services. So I'll give you a little bit of an example here. I live in Lewisport. My town has 35,000 people. We have one doctor's clinic that's open once a week. We have an emergency clinic here, but there's plenty of communities that don't. When we have snow, like, we have centers, and hopefully we have a nurse nearby or a doctor, but we need to ensure that, like, people can get to these services as well. Expanding virtual healthcare would be great, and making sure it's not charged on anybody's dime. You know what I found out in Newfoundland? The province pays for my healthcare. You know, like, I don't need extra benefits because they subsidize a lot of my prescriptions, a lot of my services, anything I need. Yeah, my province does. Did you know that's an option? Because I didn't. And this is a provincial plan. Like, you have to get on it to be a citizen here. It's just strange to get offered benefits at, like, reduced costs, like how the system's supposed to work. So I really think, like, yeah, we could do it. I don't think you understand how. And addressing the housing affordability, same thing. I don't think you understand the problem. So we'll take a step back. We'll go into your plans and promises, and we'll go into your challenges as well. Promises: to introduce universal pharmacare and dental care programs, increase funding for affordable housing and rental assistance, and to implement higher taxes on corporations and the wealthy to fund social programs. That line in itself is a red flag, everybody, because that is a toxic phrase. First off, Higher taxes on corporations? How? What corporations are you going to offer? Do you realize there's more than one corporation? Like, I'm a corporation, technically. I actually run 3 corporations. I'm a one-man show and I make no money. Are you gonna put higher taxes on me? No. You're only gonna put them on the big ones? Okay, so when I get bigger and I'm still putting all of my money into Canada, you're still gonna tax the hell out of me? See where this is a fuzzy line? We want to promote corporations being built in Canada. So why not put a higher tax on foreign companies? Canadian companies who aren't, living in Canada? But I understand taking the taxes from the rich and giving to the poor is a great fundamental idea. The problem is it cannot be done where nobody gets fucked over. The only way that can be done, like to redistribute wealth, the way the NDP kind of are asking for it, is we need a war. Yeah, that's what happened. 100 years ago, we had World War II. At the beginning, or at the end of World War II, do you know what came out? Economic prosperity. And do you know how that came to be? Because funds were equally distributed. Our parents' got homes for next to nothing. Things were free. You could get anywhere. Yes, there was high taxes, but you were paying next to nothing. So those high taxes were also next to nothing. You don't understand business. And I think that's the fundamental flaw with your promises and your plans. Collaborate with unions and advocate for groups to develop worker-friendly policies. So can I tell you about my union? Unions are a double-edged sword because unions themselves can become corporations. Yeah, a little fun fact. Didn't think you knew that one, eh? When I was in my union actually told me who I should vote for, what I should vote for, how I should vote for. On top of that, they sent me propaganda all the time on who they didn't like and who they did. So when government workers are going to the polls, do you not see a massive skew there? On top of that, fun fact, you can't be fired for not doing your job in the government. Yeah, did you know that? The union has such a handhold over the government to basically shove everybody back into their jobs. So we have workers who are put in positions where they're not in their field, they don't know what they're doing, and they're taking our resources and full-time jobs. And it's not the fault of them. Like, if I was put in a place where I didn't belong and didn't feel enjoyment going into work and I didn't feel like I was actually contributing to something, I wouldn't want to do anything either. Like, if you're paying me to just sit there, I'll sit there. But if you want me to work, then give me something I can do, something I understand, and I'll give you everything I've got because I want to. Do you see how it works? But unfortunately, the way some unions, not saying all, saying some unions are structured, if those people go to the union and just cry wolf, the union fights for them, they're back in their position, and all we've done is spend taxpayer money and we're back at square one. Utilize federal tax reforms to redistribute wealth and fund programs. Again, I just talked about that. We can't. It's hard. Diary of a CEO, Stephen Bartlett, just did an emergency debate on the same issue in the UK right now. Go talk to them. I'm pretty sure they have the exact same problem. So, what are the challenges you face? Aside from the ones I just highlighted, because those are fucking blindingly glaring. Facing resistance from business, high-income groups, obviously. Like, nobody wants Canada to change, especially the rich. They have every loophole in the book. Do you know how easy it is to get rich in the stock market with the tools they have? They can get there because of the loopholes we have in our regulations that we refuse to look at. But yes, let's do new things. Let's not fix the problems. And relying on provincial cooperation for healthcare and housing reform. Every province is facing the same problem. Where's the cooperation? It really seems like a pissing match to me. Nobody seems to be wanting to talk to anybody. Like, everybody's picked their alliances before anything's even fucking set in stone. And now nobody wants to discuss anything. We are fucking at war with the US. Like, not at war. I'm sorry, I don't want to stress at war. But they are coming for us. And we're fighting amongst ourselves. I just think of fucking Planet of the Apes, apes together strong, Canadians together strong. You get it? We have movies, references, dialogue, books, poetry, video games, everything that discusses all of these things. Are you saying we're just not gonna take from what we've learned? Not gonna take from the world's greatest writers and storytellers and philosophers? All we need to do is fix the shit that we broke and things will be better. I can't stress that enough. All right, time for the Green Party. Leader is Elizabeth May and Jonathan Pedelnap. First off, this is the first time. I'm sorry that I didn't know your name to begin with. You just don't hear much from you. Also, I'm pretty sure Jonathan just made a video that I find very disrespectful because he wants all political parties to stand together, but he refuses to extend a hand to the Conservative Party. Like, you're extending a hand to Bloc, but not the Conservative Party. Like, can we stop the hate? Key goals: address climate change and promote environmental sustainability, advocate for renewable energy and conservation efforts. We're doing that a little bit. Actually, I'm getting solar installed, so we're heading in that direction. Encourage grassroots democracy and community-based solutions. I like that idea. I would love this. Fucking kidding me? Yeah. No! Let's put this in somebody's fucking system. Do you know what this means? What that goal means? It means we can build things more community-based. Like we can work towards fixing things in our communities instead of focusing on a blanket solution across the fucking board, which we know we don't work. But I have to say, out of everything right here, that has to be my top key goal. Well, no. Eliminating the entire carbon tax. And then that. Those are my key goals. Transition to 100% renewable energy by 2050. So this is actually pretty easy. The one caveat to this that I do have to say, we have a lot of private-owned utility companies. Good luck getting that past those lobbies. Ban single-use plastics and reduce industrial pollution. Great overall things. Again, we need to figure out better solutions than the fucking paper straw because nobody likes them. But there are plenty of solutions out there. We just need to invest in better solutions. Support small-scale, sustainable agriculture and local food systems. Again, great promise, especially right now, because we have the solutions. Vertical farming and agriculture is becoming big in many cities. This could be a benefit to just local communities importing food. You could grow bananas because the climate is whatever you want it to be. Great if we could support that and give incentives to for people to build that. I'm all there for you. Plans. Implement federal policies to incentivize renewable energy adoption. So we do have federal policies. They need more. I'll give it that. So I have a 0% loan. Just updating my house is great because with inflation, like money's gonna fucking keep paying more and I get to pay less essentially. It's great. But we do need more. As I was going through things were being taken away. Like we took a lot of incentives for renewable out. And I'd like to see that back in. Partner with environmental organizations to rescue conservation programs. I'd like to know a little bit more details because I wouldn't want to partner with somebody like PETA or terrorist groups. Provide subsidies to farmers and businesses adopting sustainable practices. I also agree with this. I think farmers should be given like free taxes. Like farmers shouldn't pay shit. They make our food. They should be the ones that like sit pretty. They shouldn't be paying for their internet. They shouldn't be paying for their tools. They should be paying their workers, but like they should have tons of money because they shouldn't be taxed at all. Period. They make our food. Let's get into the challenges. Limited resources. So yeah, they're just not getting support. Balancing environmental objectives with economic and industrial considerations. I can't stress this enough. Quebec is a different beast. And I don't say that in a bad way. It's like, they are beautiful people. It's just, I really want to unravel because I really don't understand that way. Like, I have an acquaintance that I hope one day he will like sit down with me and just kind of go with me through how Quebec is the way Quebec is. Anyways, I digress. Yeah, a lot of good ideas, a lot of good plans, but they don't work right now because of what's going on. On to the Bloc Québécois. So their leader is Yves-François Blanchet. I hope I said that right. I'm very bad at names. Like, the only reason I know the top three is because it's fucking posted everywhere because they keep on throwing hate ads against each other. Actually, no, it's just the Liberals. He's been the leader since 2019. His key goals are to advocate for Quebec's interests and autonomy within the federal framework, promote the preservation of Quebec's cultural and linguistic identity, support environmental policies that align with Quebec priorities. This is why you're not going to win. I get it. I understand. French is dying as a language. One of the things I hope we can do is reform our education system so that language isn't a barrier anymore. But literally, people, like, I have headphones right here. They're called time kettles. And when I'm having a conversation with somebody in a language I don't know, we both put one in and we both have our conversation in our normal language. We have technology that bridges these gaps. So advocating for prioritizing your cultural identity over Canadians' cultural identity is really why you're not going to get it. So their promises are to oppose federal initiatives that infringe on Quebec's jurisdiction, enhance support for Quebec's cultural and linguistic identity, increase health transfers to provinces and territories, aiming at the federal government to cover at least 35% of all healthcare spending. So this is my hot take on healthcare spending. I do really think healthcare should be federally regulated more than provincially, purely because you're taking the ideals of each province out of the system and just supporting based on numbers and needs. But that's just my personal take. I love data, so that's where I come from. And again, linguistic identity is going to go away with everything. We are going to become a society that's not going to rely on needing to have the same language to speak. Like, these things are so fucking impressive. And look at my videos. Like, those are amazing, not? Like, we're coming there. We're getting there. We have tools. You're not going to lose it. Plans. Leverage federal provincial negotiations to so you're taking this time when the US is threatening us to strong arm our government. The fuck is wrong with people? Advocate for Quebec-centric policies in Parliament. Utilize Quebec's strong renewable energy sector. So let's back up. Let's back here. Quebec's strong and renewable energy sector. If I'm not mistaken, you just gave us the nasty deal of electricity. If I'm not mistaken, the Churchill power station. Renewable energy still stolen from other provinces, right? I know some things. I know things. I'm not even gonna go into your challenges because they kind of explain themselves. You guys are fucking selfish. I've never heard of a more selfish platform. All right, let's get into the last party. The PPC, the People's Party of Canada. Leader is Maxime Bernier, been leader since 2018. Their key goals are to promote individual freedom and reduce government intervention, advocate for free market policies and reduce immigration, oppose official multiculturalism, and favor of promoting unifying Canadian identity. Guys, Canadian identity is multiculturalism. That's our fucking entire identity. We are a multiculturalist country. People came from Ireland to Newfoundland. People came from the States, from Canada. People came from China to Canada. People came from Tokyo or Japan. Do you see where I'm getting here? We're a multicultural society. Like, we just care about our neighbor. We don't care what you look like. As long as you're not a dick, we don't care. Yeah, that kind of sounds like your dick, man. Promises to end carbon tax and reduce the regulation. So I'll sum up the People's Party of Canada's plan, and it kind of disgusts me. It is the Conservative Party plan with a shit ton of racism. I just want to go into the final observations of, like, all of the parties, kind of give you a final sum up. So we'll talk about polarization. The political landscape remains, like, highly polarized. Like, it doesn't, we're hating individuals, not ideas and plans. Like, we're putting people too high on a pedestal. Pierre can't do anything, Justin Trudeau couldn't do anything, Mark Carney can't do anything, fucking Jagmeet can't do anything. And you don't want to know why we can't get anything done? Because our government is built to talk to each other, to come to common ground, to have a calm and politely discussed argument and discussion about our problems and work towards a better solution for Canada. We are supposed to talk to each other, to be able to look past our hate, look past our prejudice, look past our understanding, and accept the people in front of us as they are. Because as long as you're not a dick, we don't care. Like, I don't know how to break that down any simpler. Don't be a dick. Anybody else? Dick. Canadians? Not a dick. Accountability issues. This is what I'm going to stress enough. Nobody's accountable. Like, it's a fucking political shit show out there. Nobody's taking accountability for anything. I'll give it to the Green Party. The Green Party is at least putting their name on the shit they spew. But every other party is throwing it under some other political branch. And I'm not sure, like, I haven't heard much from the Conservatives anymore, so I don't know if they just lost their power. But all I'm hearing from is fucking protecting Canada, which is doing anything but, and smearing Conservatives. Like, why is everybody so against Conservatives and not understanding that the Liberals are the same party, trying the same thing, and telling you the other guy's the devil? We already know this guy's the devil. He's been here for 12 fucking years. But yes, the only way we are going to change is if we try something different. Please, when you're going to the polls, try something different. So, I just wanted to sum this up with my opinion, and I know I've given my opinion, I've been biased throughout this whole thing, so I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be, I'm sad and pissed off. I just want us to be okay, and the way I see us being okay is talking to each other. That's one of the things I can't stress enough. Our political leaders need to have conversations as people. They can't go through fucking gates. The government is a giant game of telephone. I shit you not. That's how many layers there are. It is a giant game of telephone. The expert tells the manager, and then it gets all the way up to the top, however many layers that is, and then comes back down to the expert of what the decision is. You played telephone as a kid. I'll just let you fill in the rest. So we do need to look at our systems, reformat how we build things, take a look at our regulations, take a look at our contracts, make sure they're serving the Canadian people. We should be doing a full-scale audit of our government at least every 10 years. I get it, the government's not a business, but at the same time, it can still operate it as a business and still be a zero-sum cost. Like, they can still net zero. So even taking minute business practices, your accounting should be fucking perfect. I can guarantee you your accounting's not perfect, and if it is, somebody's hiding something. Hint, hint. Liberals, you hiding something? Can you tell us? Huh? This is why I'm saying we need to get rid of the carbon tax, because it's not serving us. It's just dividing us as a country. Whatever money we have, I don't even know where that carbon tax goes, to be honest, because they don't tell us all that well, unless we want to find out that information. I love that phrase. Like, you can go find out for yourself. Okay, but where's the information? How do I get it? How do I know it's true? How do I know it's not misinformed? Our government doesn't talk to us in anything other than speaking points. Like, I'd love to have full transparency with our government. Like, you know what? Audit. Give us a full transparent audit, line by line, what you spend every dollar on. And I can guarantee you the Canadian public can find some money to help us. We need a different system. We're not going to get it with Mark Carney because he's just Trump 2.0. He is the smarter version of Trump. Has the wealth, has the business forte, has the business buddies. Traveled to fucking Europe with no reasoning, using Canadian tax dollars to buy a jet. He had no reason to do this. He's not technically needed to go over there, but he devised a deal for us. Okay, but why are you using taxpayer dollars to negotiate the deal that we didn't ask for? You don't have that power yet. So why aren't you using your own jet? Because you're a rich billionaire or a rich millionaire, right? Like, why are you using taxpayer dollars? I don't care what political candidate is running. And yeah, you are prime minister for right now, but I didn't elect you. I sure as shit did not elect you. And I honestly probably would have stuck with Liberals had it not been you elected, Mark Carney. I actually liked Christina. Wish she would have got in because she had some good ideas. But unfortunately, you got to put Trump in because he's the good at smoozing. Just think about it before you go to the polls. I'm just asking you to try something different. I don't care if it's any of the other parties. I shit you not. I do not care if you vote for any other party but the Liberals. If you want change, if you want freedom, if you want financial freedom and have money in your pocket, do not vote Liberal.